Welcome back guys to another awesome video about Assassin's Creed Odyssey, and today I will tell you something about a new damage glitch with which you have a 100% chance to deal over 7 million damage with Ring of Chaos, over 20 million with Fury of the Bloodline, or even 100 million when you hit the polar mark from behind. And this trick is actually not new, but it has been widely overlooked. In fact, it might actually hold some more secrets when we further investigate it. And that's the reason why I want to make a video solely about that glitch. In Assassin's Creed Odyssey there are some items, some engravings and also some abilities that prevent you from using other abilities when you have them, when you engrave them, or when you wear them or use them. The most well known is of course the Blade of Yamines, which has a 250% damage increase, but you can no longer use any abilities when you use that engraving. Actually, that's not entirely true, because you can still use all those passive abilities which gives you an extra damage boost, and you can also still use the charged heavy attack with the Blade of Yamines, which will give you the most damage when you use it. But of course it falls totally flat on all the active abilities. You cannot deal any overpower attack, Fury of the Bloodline, you cannot heal yourself, and you can also not use any of the cool arrow abilities. And another one is the Ares Madness ability, because when you use Ares Madness there is actually no way to use another ability. You will run around with your glowing spear, kill everyone, but you can't actually use any other ability while doing so. So when you are at low health during Ares Madness, you can't heal yourself, you cannot use any ability with that. And when you look at the damage traits, of course the Yamines gives you 250% flat damage, that's an easy one. But when you look at Ares Madness, it gives you 35% assassin damage for melee hits. That is actually 10% more than the chance to deal 25% assassin damage. So with Ares Madness you have 35%. And it actually works every time you activate Ares Madness, which is very often. When you use the Northern Traveler set, you can actually stay in Ares Madness literally forever, which also means that you could technically deal 35% assassin damage forever with your build. So for those of you who are familiar with how much 25% assassin damage is, it can actually result in over 1 billion damage. Then having 35% assassin damage on melee hits is just even more overpowered. And the best thing is that you don't even need the big combo in order to deal that crazy melee damage. Of course, for range damage the big combo will still be the go-to item. The solution which actually unlocks your abilities even during Ares Madness is Isu Enhance. When you got triggered by Isu Enhance, which means when you got hit by somebody or just hit by a flame or by fire, you will automatically enter the Isu Enhance mode. And Isu Enhance and Ares Madness are actually completely interconnected. When you trigger Isu Enhance and then you activate Ares Madness, you will still be able to use your abilities and deal 35% melee damage for Fury, for Ring of Chaos, for every ability you want. Sadly, since you still use the spear, you can't do an overpower attack. But you can do Fury of the Bloodline, dealing over 20 or even 100 million damage on a polar mark. You can use Ring of Chaos, you can use Shield Break, you can use whatever other attack that is possible. If you are not using Isu Enhance and if you are not in Isu Enhance before you enter Ares Madness, you cannot use your abilities with Ares Madness. So make sure that you get triggered by Isu Enhance and then activate your Ares Madness to deal the real damage, the real Ring of Chaos with 7 million and the real Fury with 20 million. So first activate Isu Enhance, then activate Ares, and then you can use your abilities. That is how the glitch actually works, and that's how you deal insane massive damage with it. And since you always reset your Isu Enhance countdown by activating Ares Madness, you can immediately get triggered with Isu Enhance again and also use Ares Madness again. Everything you need for that is the Isu Enhance engraving and the Northern Traveler's engraving, which allows you to use Ares Madness more often. But instead of just roaming around with your Ares Madness ability, you have to be aware that when you are in Isu Enhance and Ares Madness, that you can also use your other abilities. Most people just overlook that suddenly their abilities are enabled and you can use them. Normally you will just spam your light attack and heavy attack during Ares Madness, but with Isu Enhance together you can actually also use Ring of Chaos, Fury and everything else. And since you will use 35% of your assassin damage, you will also get a crazy damage boost when you use them. Now you might actually ask, can we combine that with the chance to deal even another 25% assassin damage on a melee hit? I already tested that and I was very curious if we might beat the 1.4 billion damage record with it, but it looks like when you already use 35% assassin damage, you cannot convert that again to another 25, or you cannot add another 25% on top of it. It just doesn't work. You cannot use the assassin damage conversion when you already deal assassin damage. From all the hundreds of hits I actually made, there was no sign of a stacking bonus here for the 35 and the 25% assassin damage, and it was also not a sign of any multiplier that is still applied to the 35%. But does it also work with the Blade of Yamine's engraving? Well, the answer is I haven't figured it out yet. It might be some solution there together with Isu Enhance, but whatever I tried, as soon as you equip the Blade of Yamine's engraving or an item with that engraving, it simply immediately shuts down your Isu Enhance. So when you get triggered by Isu Enhance and then change your build or change an item, it will simply immediately shut down the Isu Enhance mode. So that prevents you from still being in Isu Enhance and being able to use your abilities. The Blade of Yamine's engraving kind of got the better quality assurance here at Ubisoft, and I haven't found a way to bypass it yet. But actually it looks really promising that with some kind of gear setup and changings, there might be still something to be discovered for unlocking the Blade of Yamine's. Another fun trick I want to share with you today is to get your real assassin damage displayed on your enemies. Normally all your assassinations will only display the exact number of health that your enemy actually has. And the highest one you will probably get is the mercenary, which has 3.5 million health and also 3.5 million assassin damage when you kill them on Nightmare. But your real assassin damage in a really good assassin build will be much higher than that. And in order to make it visible, you have to use the assassin damage applies to nearby enemies perk, which is also available when you complete the last episode of the Atlantis DLC. Normally the damage to nearby enemies engravings don't really work well, because they require all those enemies to be engaged, to be hunting you. But the assassin damage to nearby enemies don't require your enemies to be engaged with you. So when you assassinate a group of people, for example a leader in a leader group, you will simply get your normal assassin damage, the health value displayed on the guy you assassinated, but the damage to nearby enemies will actually show the real amount of damage, which can be well over 10 million damage for the build I actually used, which is the new max damage assassin build, and that's the one I will show you in one of my next videos. So stay tuned, don't forget to subscribe, leave me a like, and see you next time.